Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to episode 67 of Rooted in Wisdom, a daily dose of Donna. Tonight, I am sharing with you how to manage your internal state. So this is obviously important for all of us, right? So what is our internal state? It's that aspect of ourself that gets impacted both mentally, the things that we're thinking, our thought processes, how we're feeling, our emotional state. So both our mental state and our emotional state are what I'm talking about when I'm saying your internal state. So when we are on brain overload, there's just been too much input, too many decisions for the day, too many projects in the works, or just overwhelmed from life in general, or from just too much chaos happening, stressful, ongoing events in different areas or any particular area of your life, whether it's, within you or in your family, in your business, externally in the world. Usually it's all external stuff that gets us all wound up, right? And just unexpected curveballs that life throws at us on the daily often. So these are things that can really throw our internal state off balance. And the emotions and the mind work together. So they work in tandem. You have a negative thought, you feel a negative emotion, and then your body starts feeling these sensations that feel uncomfortable, throw us into some anxiety, definitely put our body into a stress response. And once we're into that stress response, it is a spiral from there. And that's why managing our internal state is so important, because once our body kicks into that stress response, that's our survival mode. And in survival mode, the most important part of our brain that we need to, in this modern age, in a stress response, is to be able to have critical thinking. And our frontal lobe is responsible for critical thinking and problem solving. And it's not a time for us to be running away or retreating, like our body's stress response is primitively designed. That fight or flight, right? Like we're just going to abandon the situation, get away because we don't want confrontation, we just don't want to argue, don't want to deal with the problem, whatever that is. Or we're going to fight, right? We're going to, be in there and having an argument or trying to defend ourselves or create a position. When you're in a stress response and feeling off balance emotionally and mentally, that is not the time to do those things. So what do you do instead? Or waiting before you do that reaction or that response time. So those external forces, as I said, are usually the things that will throw us off. And being aware of our own way of reacting to stress or certain people or certain situations. It's that self-awareness that I'm not even really talking about here tonight, but having our own self-awareness and understanding is what is going to help us in managing our internal state. When we know our own MO, right, what we're about to do if something goes bad is going to help trigger you to kick into action on managing your internal state. So I'm going to give you three ways of, I'll say, managing your internal state. The one is, it's kind of a list of things. So one is know your truth, right? That's always the foundation to everything, right? Every decision that we're going to make, every venture we're going to go into, any kind of a relationship, business or personal, right? Whatever our decisions are, it has to be coming from a place of knowing our own truth. And that is, what do you stand for? What are your non-negotiables? What are your values? And so why is this relevant to our mental and our emotional state when we get off balance? Because when you know what you stand for, it allows you to make a quick assessment about how important is this really. Like, if I go off the deep end, right? If I have a quick reaction to this, or if I take this action versus this action, Where is that falling in my own truth, in the things that matter most to me, in the things that I would categorize as, say, my non-negotiables and aligning with my values. So it's important to know what those things are for you. And then I keep seeing a light flashing. I'm trying to figure out where it is coming from. I'm like, am I hallucinating here? So, and then the second thing is practice the pause. Now, and I mean, what I mean by practice the pause is practice the pause before responding, or what's usually a reaction, right? Like knee-jerk reaction. I have a good history of being a reactor. I'm a pretty high-strung, recovering type A personality. And before I learned all of these techniques and did all of the inner work and the self-awareness stuff, my MO, because it was the way I was raised, it was what I saw in my upbringing, which was to just react and blow up and make a big deal out of things. And it was just a protective thing. And so many times that's what we do, right? Our reactions are thinking we need to defend ourselves or protect ourselves, because we're taking a stand for something. We don't even know what most of the time when we're reacting, because we've already triggered the stress response. And it's generally very irrational. And when we pause, practice this pause, we are able to make better decisions, and certainly make decisions that are coming from a centered place of certainty of knowing that the decision you did make and the reaction that you did have was thoughtful. So practicing the pause is about getting our mind and our body centered. So when our mind and our body are centered, again, it's reducing that stress response, lowering the body's stress hormones, and activating that frontal lobe, which is what we need for problem solving and critical thinking, to be able to have all our resources on tap to come up with the best solution and to handle the situation with grace and to improve our chances of having the outcome that we really desire. And that is, in any situation, saving face for everyone, right? It should always be a win-win for everyone. So we have to, in order for that to happen, to not overreact, whatever that is, right? Flight or fight. It's about being centered in our mind and our body. So one of the ways that is the easiest, quickest, and free way to do it is to breathe. So not breathe like most of us are breathing when we're feeling a little triggered and excited, right? By, heavy breathing and breathing from our chest. When I say breathing, I mean like step back, literally do a physical move of your body from the situation, whether you're reading an email or there's a person in front of you or somebody just walked away from your desk or a phone call, whatever it is. Physically move your body to tell your body, we're taking a pause here. Lean back and close your eyes and just do 4 to 6 deep from your belly, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your nose or your mouth, either way. Slow, deep breaths. That will put your body back into a calm state, and then you will automatically feel yourself in a better state of mind, to rethink, what's the best next step to do. And then the third thing is to be intentional. What really matters most? What do you want? And you have to know that, right? So you already know to go through the 3 things, right? To know your truth. And that was, what do you stand for? What are your non-negotiables? What are your values? And then the second was to pause before reacting. Get your mind and your body centered so you can be more thoughtful from an empowered state instead of from a stressful state, to take action and make a decision on what's the next best thing. And being intentional is knowing, to know what you want as an outcome. So So even though you're going to know your truth, in every situation, there's a desired outcome. There's something that you want to achieve in whatever the relationship or the situation is. And you have to be clear about that, not just going in kind of willy-nilly, throwing a bunch of comments around, trying to see what makes sense to everybody. You, as a leader of your own life, you need to be clear about what you want as the outcome, so that, and yes, that has to, of course, align with your truth, your values, and the things that you stand for, of course, right? But that is going to help you be more intentional of the journey or the path and the decisions that you're going to make along the way to now address that situation. So, all right, so that is my wisdom for today on managing your internal state. I hope that was helpful to you a little bit. And if you need support with that, I would say you can PM me. I'd be happy to give you some additional resources. But what I really recommend is you to sign up for my Breakthrough to Wholeness program, which is a group program that is the bomb. And it's starting in, the next one is starting in September. And you can DM me or comment in the thread if you would like the link to that, and I will share with you the early VIP link to get signed up on the wait list. All right, good night, everyone.